What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about the shocking news that Warzone 1 is shutting down, some updates for the future, plus even more. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and also let me know in the comment section, how much of Warzone 1 have you guys played, if at all, in the last 8 or so months? Have you guys just transitioned over into COD 2.0, or have you still hopped into Warzone Caldera from time to time? Let me know where you guys are at in terms of your Warzone gameplay. But also be sure to check out a bunch of live coverage over on Detonated's Twitter, and even on the website with brand new articles being posted over there. Any support is of course appreciated. But today a minor update did go out for Vandal Resurgence as posted by the COD Updates Twitter, which does address the following. We have private matches being added in for Vandal Resurgence, which is great. I was surprised to see it added in this soon. I figured it would be added maybe during Reloaded. And they've also added interrogation mechanics for all of Vandal Resurgence squad sizes. So for those out there that miss interrogating, it is now live on our new Warzone 2 map. But here's the breaking news coming in hot from Activision. They have announced that Warzone Caldera will be shutting down later this year, and only the current iteration of Warzone will be available after. The shutdown date is currently scheduled for September 21st, 2023. Not sure what's special about that date in particular. Could it be close to the launch of a supposed Season 6 for COD 2.0 or something else that we just don't know about? It's a little unclear as of right now, but of course, this does not affect Modern Warfare 19, Black Ops Cold War, or even Vanguard's multiplayer experiences. But they followed up by saying that players should prepare for even more Warzone content across consoles and PC, as well as a new era of Battle Royale on the go with the launch of Warzone Mobile, which includes a shared battle pass and cross progression. The Call of Duty team and studios look forward to sharing more details soon. So it was a pretty brief blog they dropped today, and there's a lot to break down from this. I mean, I did not expect this news at all whatsoever. Honestly, never thought they would shut down Warzone Caldera. I figured, you know what, they're going to allow you to have at least one BR map to play on, to utilize a bunch of cosmetics from several Call of Duties that were all interconnected with all the cross progression, but it looks like that's not the plan moving forward. Now, before I even dive into exactly how crazy this gets, I do want to mention in terms of controversy, the Call of Duty community has been on fire lately, and it's unfortunate because I cover COD full time. I still really enjoy the game. It's an honor to work with the studio directly to promote new content. I love what I do, and I'm blessed to be doing this full time, but the controversy honestly breaks my heart as of lately, especially the recent one with the whole Nick Merckx situation. I know it's going to probably unleash the wolves in the comment section of this video by me saying this, but it just sucks that, as he posted on Twitter, right, they shot and they missed. Yeah, they might have missed you because he's too big to quote-unquote cancel, but everybody else still got hit. It doesn't matter what size you are as a creator. We've all been hit with horrendous, disgusting, and inappropriate comments across our shorts, our streams, our long-form content. And yeah, it gets frustrating, but I'm not going to let it get to me too bad to where I stop doing what I love. I'm just doing me. I don't care what the political stance is of a larger creator who doesn't even play Call of Duty anyway. I really don't care, but it just blows my mind to see the brain rot on the internet, the people out there that attack creators, that attack COD-focused channels when they're claiming that they don't even like COD, and they're claiming that, you know, you should move on from COD. It's like, why are you clicking on COD content then? The reason I even brought this up is because I can't even imagine what the community is going to be like today on Twitter or the YouTube comments following this new controversy as well. But I guess it really is hard for some folks on the internet to support people, or to at least respect people of all shapes, colors, sizes, beliefs. It's not that hard, guys, but apparently it is for some folks, and that explains why we're getting a lot of comments like this over on social media. My first question is, would this have happened if Warzone 2 wasn't received the way that it did? I do think there was a lot of success with COD 2.0 at launch. I think a lot of momentum was built up prior, and even during the launch window in Season 1, but shortly after that, a lot of problems were noticed, and there were a lot of controversies surrounding the launch of Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2, as they're being labeled a new era, yet we're missing some core fundamental features that we had for 3 years in a row with Warzone 1. So I wonder if Warzone 2 had released perfect, would they have still considered shutting down Warzone Caldera eventually? Maybe they would have. Maybe it would have gotten shut down regardless of how Warzone 2 got received. If Warzone 2 was a perfect 10 out of 10 IGN experience, they would have said eventually, you know what, everybody moved on already, might as well shut down the Warzone Caldera servers. Even though they never really have shut down servers in the past for older COD titles, this is kind of a new thing to see from Activision. I wonder what happened here, but it's no coincidence that with the launch Season 4, they've now taken away the 2.0 label next to Warzone, and now it's just Call of Duty Warzones. Maybe we should have all saw this coming. I know I didn't, so maybe you guys are just as guilty down below in the comments, but I figured, right, they stripped 2.0 away from Warzone to let us all know that, yeah, Warzone 2 is just Warzone now. It is the central Warzone hub moving forward. They just had a 2.0 label on there to just market that it was a new experience, a sequel, so to speak. Maybe that's what, but at the same time, I was like, oh, that wouldn't affect Warzone Caldera, right? They'll just keep that called Warzone Caldera while we have just regular Warzone moving forward. But a big thing to take away from this is convincing people to continue buying bundles, and I say this, but people are going to buy them anyway, right? It doesn't matter what I say on the internet or what anybody tweets or posts on social media. People are still going to buy bundles regardless, and the casuals dominate the player base. So regardless of what I say here, bundles are probably still going to sell well. But one thing that comes to mind is how you convince people now for the next couple of years to continue buying cosmetics exclusively in Warzone 2 that are obviously stemming from some of the singular Call of Duty titles like Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3 this fall, or eventually the next Black Ops game. Obviously, you can still use cosmetics in their respective games, but I'm just curious, right? If somebody out there only has Warzone and they have that free-to-play downloaded on their platform, will you convince them, or will you be able to convince them to continue buying packs with the thought that, hey, maybe in 3-4 years from now, they're going to shut down Warzone 2.0 because the Warzone 3.0 is coming out, and they're going to start fresh again, and you can only use those cosmetics in their respective games that you might not even own, right? Somebody out there might have bought a bunch of bundles in Warzone 1 without having owned Modern Warfare 2019, Cold War, Vanguard. They can't use that content anymore unless they go and buy those games to play those games multiplayers, or their zombies, or their spec ops. So that's crazy to think about. But like I said, casuals dominate the player base, so I think bundles are going to still sell well regardless, and it doesn't really matter. But the other part of the statement they put out in the blog today is in regards to mobile. So I'm curious, right? If Warzone 2, or Warzone as we know it right now, eventually shuts down in favor of a Warzone 3 in a couple of years, will their excuse then be, oh, well, mobile still exists, right? You can still play a bunch of different Warzone maps on your phone, and you can use all your cosmetics that you might have bought inside of Warzone 2.0 on mobile, though. I think that's probably what they'll end up saying later down the line, so that it looks a lot better than the Warzone Caldera situation, where they were like, hey guys, you still want to use your MW, Cold War, or Vanguard cosmetics? You can do that in your respective games, but you just can't use those cosmetics in a battle royale. Whereas moving forward, they'll say, hey guys, you can still use all of this in the respective games or mobile as well, permanently. Maybe that's what they'll do eventually to kind of remedy the situation of, hey guys, we're gonna reset Warzone and start from scratch again. Now, I'm probably gonna get flack for this, and honestly, I don't really care. I mean, I get flack all the time for saying I like something in Call of Duty. I even get flack for when I criticize things respectfully in the podcast. People are like, oh, you should go harder on them. It's like, listen, men and women and innocent people, good humans, work on the games that we all love, and I'm honored and privileged to be able to do content full time thanks to those people. I'm not gonna be condescending, toxic, disgusting on the internet over a game, over DLC, over whatever the case is. That's just not me. If you want to find a channel that does that, there's plenty of those out there, believe me. But something I'm going to say, because I've said it before, but I will say it again, I'm a little relieved that Warzone Caldera is shutting down because of the movement. And you guys are probably like, wait, what do you mean? And look, the movement inside of Modern Warfare 19, fairly smooth, but a lot of exploits, a lot of bugs with it, a lot of broken mechanics. Along with that, the fact you have to kind of break your controller to YY spam, to slide cancel, to play a certain way, to be up to par with the quote-unquote meta movement, that never sat well with me. And the fact that that was also really encouraged throughout 3 years of Warzone 1, despite Cold War not offering that movement, despite Vanguard also not offering that movement, it just really stained people's perception of what Warzone is supposed to feel like and what Call of Duty is supposed to feel like. So I'm happy that we're going to finally put an end to that discussion of what Warzone movement should be. I was in a creator call back during the launch window of Season 3, in which the devs did tease there would be some fluidity changes and movement updates with our third season, and that was the case. A lot of things did change with movement and are still improving with every major title update, but somehow that call got blown out of proportion to where somebody out there spread false information that we were going to be getting Warzone 1 movement back inside of Warzone 2. That's just never going to happen. I mean, that movement was literally broken. So if you want to see that kind of snappy, broken type of gameplay, you might find that in X Defiant. You might find that in other games out there, or even Modern Warfare 19, but you're not going to be seeing that moving forward, and I'm happy about that because look at the disconnect that that caused amongst the community with how movement is supposed to feel, how different MW19 felt from Cold War, from Vanguard, but then Warzone 1 kind of, overlapping all those and saying, oh no, this is the core movement because of Modern Warfare 19. That just never made sense to me, and I'm glad that we can finally say, okay guys, that's not the movement, that's not the meta movement for Warzone going forward, and that's never going to happen again. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the shocking news that Warzone Caldera is indeed shutting down, or Warzone 1 as we know it? As a reminder, Warzone 1 is the only Call of Duty title alongside Call of Duty Online from China to have its servers shut down. Do you think the COD cycle is also added again? Do you feel like folks out there have on their rose-tinted nostalgia goggles when they say that Warzone 1 was just better, when they say that Caldera was actually a good map? I remember the community reception to Caldera when that map was in its prime, and it wasn't very good. And with that as well, I feel like the creators specifically who dislike Warzone 2, not all of them, but a lot of them, dislike it because the content they're producing for Warzone 2 isn't hitting the way that their content did for Warzone 1, while Warzone 1 was at its peak, while the pandemic was in its prime and more folks were at home watching content. Obviously, you're entitled to your opinion, whether you're a creator or not, and you could choose to like or dislike the current iteration of Warzone, but I feel like it's a little bit unjustified and unwarranted to see some of the hate that Warzone 2 gets just for not being Warzone 1, and even Warzone 1 was broken in its own right, as we talked about in this video. But that is about it. Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.